Hello, it's 1:30 in the morning, and I'm here to tell you why all poor people and those on welfare should be enslaved, put in public libraries, and made to read Hegel all day. So, naturally, as we move forward into a more advanced society, more mechanized society, more technologically proficient society, more things become automated, more jobs become redundant. We shall naturally see more and more people on welfare, on benefits, less people in jobs. Although this very much should have been the case, considering that production has went up and economic efficiency, automation, technology, and so on, as I have just said, over the previous decades. Because capitalism requires this sense of infinite growth, rather than people working less and getting more, we simply see people working more and more, and our kind of consumptive habits becoming larger and larger, more wasteful. But regardless, as they reach a certain peak, they reach a certain precipice to which the economic efficiency which our society is achieved, the automation, the technology, again, so on and so on and so on, has reached a certain level. We shall get to a point where at first a minority of people, a growing minority, and then eventually a certain majority, if even a small majority, of people will not be able to find work because work will simply not exist. Now, many people such as Andrew Yang and so on, many years ago, small funny Chinese American politician man and so on, have suggested such plans such as universal basic income to provide for these vast swarming hordes of not even proletariat, very much underclass, welfare class, that they should be provided with free money, free universal income. Now, the problem with this is that, as we see with much of the underclass today, when you simply give people money, nothing else, no objectives, no positives, you see dereliction, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, criminalism, gangs, and so on and so on. Because there is a certain paradox in the human condition where, on the one hand, people do very much not want to work, not want to go through extraneous tasks. They do not want a purpose, they simply want to sit down, consume Fanta, Coca Cola, be narcissistically amused with Netflix, social media, etc. At the same time, it takes very little coercion to get most people this sense of purpose, whether it be social coercion or money, status, so on and so on, where they do not really need to work, but there is this slight aspect of coercion which proves that this is really what they wanted so all along. Anyway, to get to the point, as we move into a more technologically proficient, automated society, and we have this large group of people, the majority of people who are out of work, it would be unwise to simply have them floating about, again, consuming Netflix, drinking Fanta, drinking Coca-Cola, engaging in all sorts of degenerate activities, drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana, selling drugs, raping children, forming gangs, so on and so on. So they must be given sense of purpose, but since this cannot be found in a job, something else must be found. Whether that be redundant or meaningless or whatever is irrelevant. And that is why I propose that when this universal basic income is introduced, when it is set in motion, when we reach this certain peak, this precipice of most people not being able to work because jobs are automated, small Japanese robots and so on, there is simply no option. We instead enslave people to the libraries, force them to read Hegel, or they starve on the street like animals. For example, we set up certain institutions, certain libraries, certain gyms, certain places where people can go for education, self-betterment, whether it be physically, again, the gym and so on, social spaces, places where people can go, and rather than working a 9 to 5 job, Monday to Friday, we give people little cards like this and so on, and that instead of working 9 to 5 job, they take this card on Monday. They go to the library. They put the card for the slot at 9 a.m. They sit in the library. They read. They talk with friends. They're simply in the library. They read philosophy, history, so on and so on, to give them something to do, somewhere to go, and then at 5 p.m. card goes back through. Same Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the next week, so on and so on. And that others may go to the gym, others may go to a general social space, some may go to some kind of facility where they put in the cars, they're given little picker, they clean up streets. The idea is that some sense of purpose is performed, is given, and it's so long as they are either at the gym, at the library, performing social tasks, meeting with people, socializing, getting out there in a positive environment. They get universal basic income, they get housing, food, Fanta, Coca-Cola, Netflix, so on and so on the weekend after work, after they have finished the readings at Hegel. And this is basically the solution which I propose. We take the vast majority of the population, we enslave them, we put them in libraries, we make them read Hegel, we make them read Kant, we make them read the Greeks, the Romans, so on and so on. We make them exercise to be physically fit. We build a race of poor, welfare benefit having supermen